Hoge Jahns.
What's up? Welcome in. Hoge Jahns with you after another Bears loss. Jahns is in New Orleans looking all bundled up in that freezing cold Superdome.
I am right underneath one of the AC vents. I feel like every seat in the press box comes with its own AC vent.
Yeah.
So you have to
Full
pack.
blast.
Yes, as nice it is. I mean, it's like 80 degrees outside, but you got to bring a fleece and more. You got to layer up here in this press box.
Is it? I was going to ask you, is it so it's warm outside? That's why they got the AC blasting?
80 degrees. Humongous building.
Yeah,
Here,
it's
if
a
you're
big
watching
building.
YouTube, we'll give everybody a look. Hold on.
Yeah. So it's obviously, it's Superdome. It's called the Superdome because it's huge. But look, what I want you to pay attention to is John shows you this. If you're watching on YouTube, like you're at the very, very top. So like the air has to come in somewhere, and it's coming in right above your head, about 2 feet above your head.
I'm all tangled in the
full blast.
my microphone
right
wires.
there?
Yes, we're good. We're
Okay.
good. We'll make it work.
Okay.
That's what we do here.
I'm in a nice and toasty CHGO studio back in Chicago. As we record this, the Bears lose 24-17. Had a chance to win. I mean, but you're just not going to win a lot of games when you turn the ball over 5 times, lose the turnover battle 5-0, lose the penalty battle 8-1, lose the field position game basically the entire time. Just not a good, strong recipe for winning football games. And I think if you're playing a lot of different teams other than the Saints, Johns, this would have been a higher margin of victory or defeat from the Bears' end of it. Just not a clean game by any means.
I think today's fun fact, which was shared by one of the Saints media members, was that the entire fourth quarter was played on the Bears' side of the field.
That's
which is impressive, actually. That's an impressive feat for the Bears defense if you think about it. But
yeah, they didn't give up a point.
No, it's great defense. I thought the defense was better, but you're right. To your point, if this is a better team, if it's the Chargers from last week, you're getting different outcomes here.
The Saints' missed field goal led to the Bears' best field position of the entire game to start a drive, and then they immediately had a holding penalty and went backwards. It was like so much
debatable one, but yes, when you have 7 penalties, I think for 81 yards, and your opponent has 1 for 5, not part of that winning formula, Adam Hoge.
No, and too many. Like a couple of them were debatable. I think the last one, the face mask on Velus Jones when he was getting held all the way down the field, the defensive holding call on Jalen Jones earlier in the game, that was a debatable call. I didn't necessarily like that one. But then you had some obvious holding penalties. One very weak one early in the game. Can't line up offsides on the tush push. They've been emphasizing that the last week or so, and the Bears were not on top of that, obviously, because Cody Whitehair lined up offsides next to the center. That's been a point of emphasis with the referees the last couple of weeks, and just killer stuff like that. Not a recipe for success. And like Flus says after the game, like something along the lines of like, we're playing our brand of football in reference of, trying hard and max effort and not quitting. And I get all that, but unfortunately, your brand of football is also too many killer mistakes. Like, can we just identify that? I know that's not what it's supposed to be, but credit to Cole Kmet, because after the game in his locker, he was very honest about that. Like, no, we're not close when we can't line up properly. Like, they got too many errors like that still. And unfortunately, until they prove us otherwise, they're a team that just doesn't know how to win football games, Johns.
I know what I was thinking about in this game, at least a little bit. My column is about Tyson Bagent. Is the other day when Ryan Poles is talking about erasers.
Yeah.
Like players who make up for mistakes, players who make up for penalties, players who make up for miscues by their teammates and are just basically they elevate the entire
multipliers.
Right. Yes. But to use his term, erasers. Like the best erasers in this league are quarterbacks. I want to say it was Phil Emery used that term to describe.
Hopefully not Jay Cutler.
Not Jay Cutler, but Aaron Rodgers. So I think at this point, the Bears, I think reality is just kind of set in. You have this undrafted rookie quarterback from Division II Shepherd, and it is just what it is. Like, I have this line on my column, like, his growing pains are now, well, theirs. You can only expect too much. Your expectations should only set so high. It just is what it is. You have an inexperienced quarterback playing one of the best defenses in the league, one of the loudest stadiums in the league. It's a tough environment for him to succeed in, regardless of how well he played in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're playing with a backup quarterback, and you have a chance. I mean, that's basically what you want when you're looking at a formula for when your starter's out. You want to be able to have a chance. Too many other mistakes, but all that being said, like, you can definitely put a lot of blame on Bagent today. You can't have 3 interceptions,
2 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, 1 he's late. 2 of them I thought he was late. Another one he was just inaccurate. Fourth quarter was bad. Couldn't cross midfield. The DJ Moore fumbles, obviously not on him. The last one where he gets strip sacked, that's probably more on the offensive line, but it's just you can't win games that way. So look, to me, like, you got to get Justin Fields back in there. Everybody knows that. Everybody's in agreement with that. That's fine. But I think you can also say at the same time, and this is where I'm getting more and more frustrated, I think, watching this team, is you could change the quarterbacks and you're still going to have the holding penalties. You're still going to have too many mistakes with lining up properly. That's been now constant with both quarterbacks. So that tells you it's not necessarily a quarterback issue. This is a team that just beats itself too much.
And you can't do that. Well, that's why you're a 2-win football team.
Yeah.
Add in all the injuries, and you are what you are.
Yeah.
5 wins over more than a season and a half of this brand of football.
All right, you're there. Take us inside the locker room. Take us through some of this reaction from players.
It wasn't really anger. Again, I think the reality is that we're not a very good team. Our starting quarterback is out. There are signs of progress. The defense is playing better. They are. I know that the Derek Carr quick game got to them a bit, and the third down blitzes didn't really work, and you want to see more from Montez Sweat. But the defense in general, I think, is playing better. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but I think it is. It kept them in the game. They're, to that stat again, the entire fourth quarter was played on their side of the field. Maybe if it's the Justin Herbert Chargers, this is a different game. Probably is, but I don't know. I don't want to say it's resignation in the locker room, but it's the reality. They're a 2-win football team with an undrafted free agent starting for them. Your starting quarterback has a dislocated thumb, and there's no, I don't think he returns this Thursday. It just is what it is. Like, if I had to sum up the Bears right now, it just is what it is. You got young guys playing. Tyreek Stevenson didn't finish the game. It is what it is.
Well, so you don't think he's going to come back this week? I feel like there's a chance. I did notice that there was a subtle change in the Flus after the game. He's called Justin Fields day to day when he's been week to week. If I'm Justin, if I can play this week, I'd like to get a game against the Panthers before you have to come back against the Lions. So I feel like Justin's going to be very motivated to play this week, but you don't think he'll come back in time?
It's a short week. I'll read you this quote from DJ Moore real quick. I guess this is the one that made me pessimistic.
Okay.
Maybe at most. He was asked about how hopeful he is about Justin Fields' potential return. This is DJ Moore. I don't know. It's up to them upstairs, the trainers. It's up to him at the end of it. So hopeful, but it's not our decision. And then he continued, it's also a short week. They're not going to practice much. Yes, the experience factor, to use Eberflus's own words, the experience factor matters. Maybe Fields can come in right away, but I think you'd like to see him have some real practices, right? To prepare himself, to get ready in the best possible way for his return instead of rushing back, even if it is the Panthers.
No, this is just a hypothetical, but what if they told Fields last week, hey, here's some advanced scouting on the Panthers?
The dude dislocated his thumb. He can't grip the football. Can we get him through some of those?
There's always side stuff you can do every day, though. And as long as you know mentally what you're supposed to do, offensively. I'm going to give him a chance. I'm not saying it's a high chance, maybe 49%, but I think he's got a chance to play Thursday. We'll see.
You just want it to be more interesting than the Tyson Bagent show we've been saying.
Hey, today's game was actually entertaining. But yes, Fields coming back would make it more entertaining. I also have this drastic fear that this is the most Bears thing in the world to do, which would be to lose to the Panthers at home.
Do you think the scrambles, the boots, all the stuff that Bagent did with his legs today, do you think those happen if Justin Fields plays, or do the Saints have a different game plan in for him? Because I feel like they were surprised at first that Bagent was running that much. But at the same time, do you think, like, there was one where I thought that Bagent slid too early. Maybe he could have gotten like 5, 10, 15 more yards with guys grabbing at him. But I thought he went down early. But do you think Justin Fields takes that one to the house? The first one.
Yeah, it's always an interesting question, right? Because, once he gets out in the open field, do I think Fields wins that race and probably scores a touchdown? Probably. But does he ever get into the open field because they're playing him different? Which I think is the big adjustment we've seen from all these teams, like basically since this point of last year when the Bears went on that run. So yeah, they're playing him differently. See a Herb Howard walking out of here. CHGO, he gave you a shout out in the comments. Papa John's commenting as always. Yes, they looked a little bit more caught off guard with the boot because, I love the fake toss boot that they ran at one point in the game where they make the conflict defender really, he can't be right. He's either got to stay with Kmet opening up the quarterback run, or he comes after Bagent and the dump off to Kmet's there. I thought that was maybe the best play call of the entire day. That's the type of stuff they've been taking away from Fields because they blitz that boot. So you can run that fake toss all you want, but then Fields turns around and there's a guy in his face. So these are the adjustments teams have made. I think that helped the play calls today where they did catch the Saints off guard. But I also thought the Saints made better halftime adjustments than the Bears did. They seem to be trying to also take away the run game to the right side, which has been so powerful with Tevin Jenkins and Darnell Wright. Fans are getting frustrated why they're running left. And I think that's because that's where the Saints were trying to dictate things a little bit. In fact, one play, obviously I don't know this for sure, but Bagent made a check. They're in a 9-man box, the Saints are, and he checks. So you're thinking, oh, he must be checking to a pass, but he still handed it off, but they countered back to the left. That told me they actually had 2 run plays on, and he checked to the second one just based on the alignment, and it worked for a 5-6 yard gain, whatever it was, but it was to the left side. So I just felt like in general the Saints did a little bit better of a job. I know Eddie Jackson was talking about how they thought they were going to take more shots downfield. They didn't do that. So credit the Saints a little bit.
Yeah, Taysom Hill gave the Bears defense. If any player gave the Bears defense problems, I thought it was Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
Just Kevin Fishbane and I were talking about that. To go back to your point, or what you brought up about the checks and all the alerts they were doing in the Bears offense, Tyson Bagent in particular, I thought that felt so notable in the early going. Wow, he actually looked like a starter. Things were clicking. He was poised in the pocket. He was making plays with his legs. He was improvising. Things you want to see your starting quarterback do, and then things just got away from him. So maybe it was the adjustments made by the Saints. Maybe it was them shutting down that right side of the offensive line, which has been so good for the Bears. But there are some moments, man. I want to know how you feel about this. In the first half, we were Tyson Bagent is going to make this quarterback conversation pretty interesting in this town. More so, but for real reasons. His actual play in the field was that good. Where you're his first half stats were impressive. But by the end of it, if you have 2 interceptions and a fumble in the fourth quarter, all storylines are different. But what do you think of his first half?
Well, and he also had that interception in the first half too, which was as good as some things have been. You see the promise there. There's also going to be the rookie mistakes, which is why I never got my own brain at any point where I'm going, well, even when Fields is healthy, you don't put him out there. I never even got close to that. Now, maybe I was getting to the point of, okay, Bagent does look like he could be a starter. So if Fields falters when he comes back, maybe that's when things get a little interesting. But then the rest of the game played out. And by the way, like, I still think you can be there with both. Like, yes, Justin Fields should be the starter. He is the guy. But at the same time, understand that Bagent, for an undrafted rookie, is probably, even with all the interceptions today, exceeding expectations to this point.
Yes, absolutely. Like, have you seen a list of quarterbacks who have played today?
Oh, it's horrible. I mean,
we talked about this.
You want
earlier.
Bagent or Tommy DeVito? And I don't know if DeVito even played today, but these are some of the guys we've seen play foot.
He did.
Clayton Tune?
You want
Bagent or Clayton Tune?
I'll take Bagent over Daniel Jones and his contract. Whoa. Seriously.
Well, definitely with the contract in there, yeah.
Seriously, but like, there's a place for Bagent in this league. I don't know what his ceiling exactly is, though, but yes, I would agree with you. He's probably exceeded expectations. But now, see if you agree with me on this. Like, where I'm at with this team is, let's get Justin Fields back.
Oh, 100%.
Let's finish what this whole season was supposed to be about. Like,
which is evaluating QB1. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Like, this offense is working better. It is. The run game is back. The offensive line is intact or close to it. Let's see what Fields could do behind it.
100%. And that's why I'm anxious to see him get back. If he can play and he wants to play Thursday, I play him. You can make the argument, well, save him one more week. He's got, the mini buy and extra time. What are you buying time for? The season's shot. You're not playing for anything. You need every rep of evaluation you can get with Fields, even if, and I hate to say this, even if that ends with Fields getting another injury. Well, that's part of the evaluation. Can he protect himself? Can he stay healthy? Right. So
it is durability.
Obviously, if he can't grip,
don't quote John Fox. I thought you were about to. Sorry.
No, I'm not going to go that far. I'll never do that. But if he can't grip the ball, then you don't play him, right? Like, he's got to be able to grip. But if he can wear a glove and grip it fine, and he's comfortable throwing with the glove on, like he said like he was wearing a glove in practice on Friday, I still play him. You got to get this evaluation going, and yeah, there's absolutely no quarterback controversy here. But you can also say at the same time, no matter who's playing quarterback for the Bears next year, Tyson Bagent is going to be on this roster and probably the backup.
Yeah. You have to get this evaluation going again. You say going? Yeah, it's got to get going again on Justin Fields. Yeah. And there are some favorable matchups coming up. And I know it starts with the Panthers, who I think, did they lose today? They lost today or are losing?
The Patriots?
No, the Panthers. They're losing 27-13 as we record this to Gardner Minshew. Speaking of another backup quarterback who's playing today, but we'll see. I do think things are working better in areas of this team. I think there's still some problematic injuries. I did mention Stevenson's. It looked like he went to the X-ray room. He had his left shoe off coming back from the X-ray room too. So we'll see, but it's all about that quarterback position, man. You know how it goes in this town.
All right, can I talk about what I was most disappointed in once again?
Go ahead.
The pass rush. Dude.
One QB hit?
I mean, they're just it's not there. You add Montez Sweat, you get the contract done, still can't get there. They need a 3 technique so bad. When they say the engine of the defense, they don't have that guy. And it's just it would be something if Matt Eberflus doesn't survive as this head coach and you went 2 years with this system, but you never actually had a real 3 technique in there the entire time. Like, just a disappointing missed opportunity to me. I don't know how else to, like, I'm not trying to make excuses for these other guys, but now we've seen, and it's only one game for Montez Sweat, and he did have the one pressure, I think, at one point that did cause an incompletion. But that's what I'm getting at. It's not even about the sacks for me. They do not affect the quarterback. They do not rattle the quarterback. They do not make the quarterback uncomfortable, which is what you have to do in the National Football League. It just doesn't happen with these guys. You have Yannick Ngakoue. He's had 8 sacks like every year of his career. You can't get close to the quarterback here in this defense. DeMarcus Walker, not enough pressure. Montez Sweat, again, he didn't get there enough today. It's one game, but it still didn't happen. It just looked like more of the same. It's just so disappointing every single week to see them in a position where the quarterback has all day to stand back there and you cannot make him uncomfortable.
We went from like talking about how important that position was, like on day one of the Matt Eberflus era,
The 3 technique.
the engine of the defense, from going from Larry Ogunjobi to Justin Jones, who was Plan B, to I think you saw the emphasis come back a little bit in this draft with the selections of Gervon Dexter and Zach Pickens. But I liked right about Gervon Dexter and Zach Pickens, like right about what they're actually doing in games, because right now it's nothing. Maybe that's a storyline right there. Like, why aren't they developing? Why aren't they in the backfield? Who did why am I blanking on his name? DeForest Buckner. Like, that was the engine of the Colts defense. In year one of Matt Eberflus there, Chris Ballard made a big trade and got that 3 technique, a player who actually moved all over that line of scrimmage, and still is a true difference maker for that Colts defense. And right now, I mean, Montez Sweat, you hope that he could become that pass rusher, that premium position game changer, that multiplier that Ryan Poles talked about, but you build it inside out, right? Where are those rookie defensive tackles? Where is the interior, pressure, denting the pocket and whatnot? It's just not there.
No, they had to hit. By passing on Jalen Carter, you had to hit with your second round pick on one of those guys. And Gervon Dexter was a head scratcher from the start. I'm not saying it's over by any means. These rookies need time to develop, certainly more than, what's it been, 9 games now? But the thing that was tough to accept about that pick was just that he didn't play in the same type of defense in college. And so now he can have all the traits in the world, but you got to teach it to him. So maybe it takes him a year or 2 to develop that stuff. I don't know, but I just haven't seen enough of it. You need a difference maker in there right now to make these defensive ends have a chance. And also at the same time, it can't be too much of a crutch. I mean, Yannick Ngakoue needs to get to the quarterback at some point. And
you're paying him $10 million to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And Montez Sweat, you got your payday. Go get the quarterback.
You want to give the rookies some time. What do they say? You can't make a fair evaluation to at least after year 2, right? Players develop at different times. But if they're drafted based off grades of, their flashes of potential in terms of that scheme fit, right? Wouldn't you like to see some of those flashes happen every other game, once per game?
Right.
Something?
Yeah. No flashes.
Instead of nothing?
No flashes.
There was I want to say it was the Raiders' second possession where they had Rasheem Green, DeMarcus Walker at defensive end, and then the 2 rookies at defensive tackles. And it was just the Saints quickly marched down the field. Like, I'm all for rotations, but second possession of the game, like Montez Sweat is good to go. Like, he could play. It just seemed like a very easy possession for the Saints, especially early on in that game with Derek Carr getting the ball quick.
Yeah. All right. Anything else there from New Orleans that we should know about?
No. Run game worked until it didn't.
Yeah, they took that away late.
Yeah, Kari Blazing game was lost to a concussion.
That hurts, man. When you have an offense like the Bears do and you lose your fullback, that makes a difference.
And on special teams.
Yeah.
You always special teams. I don't know why you do.
I don't. And that was an insane play the Raiders made late in the game with the puncher right down there in the corner. And I forget the name off the top of my head who went down there and tapped that ball.
Oh, not the Raiders, the Saints.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, the diving save there. That was impressive.
Out of bounds, pinned the Bears back. That was a big play in that game. Type of, game sealing special teams play you need. Of course, then the Saints couldn't get it done with the field goal. They had to miss the field goal. You got to put points on the board too. But yeah, Bears.
It is what it is, man. Just go with it. It is what it is.
Hey, they put up a lot of yards offensively today. Like, there's some good stuff that they did. It's just that they go yards, penalty. Yards, turnover. Yards, penalty, turnover. Like, just, you can't win games like that.
Yeah. You know what? I'll say this: a lot of Bears fans came down here for this game. They'll still enjoy themselves tonight. I'm sure they enjoyed themselves today. It was an entertaining game, at least.
Well, I hope you enjoy yourself too. I'm sure you're gonna have a nice meal tonight.
It's great food town, man.
Tell Kevin I say hi.
I will.
Then it's a quick week. You better hurry back here.
I'll be back.
Bears Panthers on Thursday night. I do want to.
It's the everybody wins bowl. Even if the Bears lose. No, if the Bears lose, no, it works.
Yeah, I guess since the Bears only have, I just still feel like the Bears are gonna. Yeah, I just still think the better outcome is the Bears win because I still think the Bears are more likely to win a couple games down the stretch here than the Panthers.
They should win. They should actually be favored, I believe.
Ooh, should I check that before we get out of here?
It's going to be like a pick 'em.
In the meantime, while I check this, I do want to mention Mike. We have an awesome listener named Mike who donated 2 tickets for this game Thursday, with all proceeds going to the 22Q Family Foundation. It is 22Q Awareness Month. And so he's donated 2 tickets, section 103, row 17. These are good seats.
Good seats.
Yeah, we did this last year too. So we greatly thank our listeners have been so awesome to donate this stuff. So two tickets. I do understand this is not the greatest game in the world. It's a Thursday night. They're playing the Panthers. So really just whatever you're willing to chip in or and the way we do this is not really like a true auction. Just hit me up in my DMs on Twitter. Let me know what you're willing to pay for the 2 tickets. Again, all the money goes to charity, 100% of it. It's just a loyal listener donated a couple tickets, which we greatly appreciate. So again, just shoot me a DM. My DMs are open on Twitter. Let me know if you want the tickets, if you want to go. And the highest bid, we'll figure it out by tomorrow night because I want people to be able to plan their week and go. And yeah, that's how we'll figure this out. In the meantime, I am not seeing a spread yet.
Well, thanks, Mike. I'm going to say thank you to Mike real quick.
Yeah. It's weird there's not a... Maybe it's because they don't know who's playing quarterback.
Because they're still playing.
Oh, and the Panthers. Yeah, but there's still usually a look-ahead line. I'm not seeing it right now. I would think the Bears are favored, though. Especially because the Panthers are getting killed right now.
Yeah, you'd hope.
Hey, the Bears covered today.
They did.
They shouldn't have. The Saints had like 6 opportunities in the fourth quarter.
Like, this is the competitive game that I expected. I tried to project last week against the Chargers, but Justin Herbert was Justin Herbert. And Derek Carr, I know you love him. It's Derek Carr.
Well, he's not what he was. And he never, yeah. He was better at one point.
Yes.
But not anymore. Not the greatest offense in the world. They've had their issues this year with the Saints. And but hey, they got to win today. How about the Vikings winning with Josh Dobbs at quarterback?
Yeah. That stuff never happens for the Bears. I know what. Let me correct that. I think Tyson Bagent would be like the equivalent of that against the Raiders. But the Raiders are also, they were near implosion.
Yeah, but Tyson Bagent was also at least in the system since
Sure.
he was,
the Dobbs stuff is pretty
Dobbs
well.
showed up on Tuesday.
Yes. Doesn't know the playbook. Doesn't know his teammates. Just running all over the place.
He wasn't even supposed to start today. He just goes in there. They score 31 points.
Well, their starter got hurt.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's like basically an emergency situation. And, you know, his good job, Atlanta. That's a bad loss. If you're the Falcons, that's a bad loss. Even with Taylor Heinicke starting for you. So the Vikings are now 5-4. Probably good news at this point. The Packers got to win because you want to keep the Packers away from like a top 5 pick as well, or jumping ahead of you in the draft order. They got a 20-3 victory over the Rams today.
Oof.
Yeah, I think that's actually Brett Rip. Didn't he have a cup of coffee with the Bears at one point?
Don't know.
Am I making that up? I feel like he was standing out there like a rookie mini camp or something. Good times trying to search through the Rolodex of former Bears quarterbacks. Sometimes you hit them, sometimes you don't.
It's almost too long.
Yeah, you can't. You really can't.
It's actually 2 Rolodexes.
You can name any somewhat obscure quarterback and be like, did that guy have a cup of coffee with the Bears? And usually when you check Wikipedia, the answer is yes.
Yes.
And it's got like the star next to it, practice squad or off season only.
Something else.
Something like that. All right, we're going to get out of here. We're going to let Johns get to his dinner and get on home. Follow us on Twitter at Adam Hoge, at Adam Johns. Of course, Johnsy, Kevin, both there. All their coverage up on The Athletic, theathletic.com/Hoge Jahns. You can find our coverage on CHGO on our YouTube channel and also at allchgo.com. All of our merch is available at hogeandjohns.com. Go check it out. We got hoodies. We got winter hats. We got all kinds of stuff that are up there ready to go for you, hogeandjohns.com. And, of course, our Twitter account for the show is at Hoge Jahns. And it's a good follow. Find us there as well. We'll keep you updated on all types of stuff happening with the show. And when we go live, you can always count on that. We should be back Tuesday morning. Coffee with Johns. Oh, we have an exciting show announcement, too, coming up Tuesday. I almost dropped the ball on that.
You did.
Tuesday, we have relatively big announcement for the show that we're gonna drop on you, and we're really excited about it. We think you'll be excited about it too. So don't miss Tuesday's show because it's all happening there, and should be a lot of fun.
Oh, it's time to go?
No, yeah, I don't know. I'd ask you if you had any final thoughts, but you don't.
I got nothing. I'm gonna go eat. I'm thinking of my stomach now.
All right, go warm up and get some food.
See ya.